Hello girls.
Hello.
Good morning.
So we've got Liz to my left and Natasha to my right. So you've sold 10 million singles, you've had 3 number ones and 2 multi-platinum albums. How does that feel looking back now?
No,
I think it still feels quite surreal.
yeah, I just still don't believe it.
I mean, I kind of walk past my discs every now and then and go, yeah, you know, we did well. You know, we worked really hard. We achieved some, great things, and you know, it's a bit of a legacy to pass on to our children and grandchildren, which is wonderful.
I better get cracking then.
And what do you say to your children? Do they know that you were in Atomic Kitten? Have they grown up with you as a celebrity, or?
I mean, they kind of knew about Atomic Kitten, but it's the first time they've seen Atomic Kitten perform. It was earlier this year when we did the Hammersmith Apollo gig, our first big reunion gig, because they were only babies and they weren't really aware of it. And when I told them, about the big reunion, I was like, "Are you excited?" And like my 8-year-old was like, "Yeah, Mum, can't wait." And my 11-year-old was like, I'm into Tiny Temper and Adele. I was like, well, okay, fair enough. They loved it.
But it's funny. I mean, I know that they kids, and I've got godchildren as well, is that they can be proud of you in that way, but they're never ever going to think you're cool.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
No, never. Like, I think Josh is at that funny age where mummy on stage in a bit of a leotard and a lampshade skirt isn't probably the coolest. He's like,
You're like that. I'm not sexy, and he's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you choose the name Atomic Kitten to call yourself?
It was a weird one, actually. We had a clothes designer years ago, and and she designed our first sort of outfits that we were going to go for. And she was going to change her name. Her name of her label was Atomic Kitten, and we were looking for a name, and she said, take that. Then in the end, we used to get it a bit wrong on stage, say like automated, and also so we just changed it to Atomic. And then it's been really good being able to explain it, because we say that Atomic Kitten is like each woman, each one of us. We can be like an atomic bomb, but quite like a kitten. So
Love
it's weird.
Love it. Were you one of those people who loved science back in the day then?
Yeah, that's me. I'm all about that.
And so, obviously now we're in 2013, would you have changed anything if you were to form yourselves now as Atomic Kitten?
Well, I think that the big reunion has allowed us not to have too many regrets, because we've been able to come back and do things. I think for us, you might agree, Tash, that I think sometimes when taking things for granted, leaving things when we shouldn't have left them, or not doing something because we didn't think it was right at the time, or just being stubborn. And whereas now you have a completely different perspective on it.
I don't think you can have many regrets. I think if you didn't want to do it, there was a reason. I mean, I kind of listened to myself and, my inner voice. I think we did a lot of amazing things back in the day, but it's been nice to put any old worries to bed and move forward and form an even stronger bond as women.
Okay, and how did the big reunion come about then for you?
It was a meeting. Like TV asked us to come into a meeting, and it was just crazy from the first minute, wasn't it? It was a bit nuts.
I mean, obviously it was a bit nerve-wracking because it was a concept that hadn't been on TV before, so we didn't know what to expect. But it was a true portrayal on what happened back in the day, and that's what really got me going about the show. I didn't want to come back and have to tread on eggshells. I thought, I get to say my story, how I felt and how I saw it. And, there was that element of, everything I say might not make the girls happy, and things they say might not make me happy, but that's how we experienced it at the time. That's how we made each other feel.
Did you ever have a time that you were like, actually, I don't know if this is a good idea after all? Or it was always, we're going to go for it?
No, I think for me, I worry, don't I? I always worry. I'm a bit that kind of person. So I think after my first interview, I did ring Tash and I rang Kerry, and I said, listen, I said this, and you did the same. We were like, listen, I've said this, but I want you to know, and it's not coming from a bad place, it's just honest. And and it was so strange that we all took that initiative without even talking to each other, and then we're all okay with it. But it's the healthiest thing to do.
Honesty is the best policy, and we're all old enough and tough enough to take, a few comments on the chin. And in all honesty, nothing any of us said was really that bad, and that just proves that we had a great friendship from day one.
Yeah, I mean, because actually you look at what some of the other bands went through, and we actually said, God, ours wasn't as bad as you think.
It seemed it at the time.
Yeah, it did. We
were worked to the bone.
Yeah.
There's so much pressure on such young shoulders. Whereas now we come back into it, we're adult, we will stand up for ourselves a bit more. If we're being pushed and we're exhausted and we need to eat, we'll say, actually, we're going to stop now. And people can't really push us anymore because we've got a voice now.
Yeah, obviously Kerry's not here to kind of give her input, but obviously Jenny came in and replaced her. How was it having Kerry back in the band?
It was
Surreal.
Yeah, surreal because it kind of just fit. It kind of fit into this place because it was just, it felt really, really normal. It was really weird.
Obviously, we hadn't worked together as a band for 12 years, so we were there was a bit of trepidation going into it.
And we were rusty and we had a lot of work to do.
You know, would the chemistry still work? We weren't sure, we were hopeful. And obviously we'd already signed up for the project, so it would have been a struggle if we didn't connect as a band, but it was like we'd never been a part of it.
What if Jenny came into it and instead of Kerry coming back, Jenny decided that she was going to perform as a three?
Well, what a lot of people don't know about is that Jenny was actually in the meetings initially, and you know that she.
So you've come back as a four then?
The idea, ITV, we're hoping for something like that, but we never thought that was an option because we always thought that Atomic Kitten was about three girls,
right.
and there's three personalities, so it was never an option for us. And when Jenny was decided that, you know, when she got pregnant and stuff, it just sort of, for us, naturally fell towards Kerry then.
It would have been nice for Jenny to have an input at
the
stage.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Okay. And what's the reaction been? Have you had loads of new fans, or is it all just the old fan base, plus their kids, or...?
I tell you what's really weird is
tell me.
I will tell you. I'll tell you.
Tell me that.
I will. You wait for this. It was weird because there were so many, I mean, for us, I think, apart from, like, you know, children that we know, the friends of children that we know, kids weren't really, you know, noticing us these days. And when it came to the big reunion, we have this, like, young fan base all of a sudden again, and it's very surreal.
Do you feel younger now again then?
Oh no, my knees give way all the time, so no.
No, but it's nice to be hitting a new audience. I mean, it's amazing that we've got such loyal fans that have stuck, you know, with us throughout the years and are still supporting us now.
Yeah.
That always makes me smile.
And we still see them turning up at things that we saw, and we saw them when they were 14
like 10
and now
years
they're
ago,
older.
they were turning up outside studios and they're still doing it now, which is really cute.
Yeah.
Was there any song that kind of defines Atomic Kitten for them, for you? What song was the song for you?
Whole Again.
It's Whole
Whole
Again.
Again.
It put us on the map because, you know, we had a fan base, a really sort of kitsch fan base at the beginning of Atomic Kitten that have still stuck by us, even with the Whole Again, even after the Whole Again and things changed and got bigger for us. But Whole Again sort of put us on the map in quite literally in several countries, you know. So it was we were everywhere.
It was one of the best songs I think you did. I can personally say.
You know, it was. I mean, it did. It went out. It touched so many people.
Yeah,
the meaning of it. You know, we would always have people come up to us saying, "This got me through a really tough breakup. This made me realise how much I love someone.
Yeah.
We played this at our wedding because this song got us back together. And if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be married today." And things
And you're like,
that.
oh.
You're like, wow. You know, music touches people in a way that saying it in words just doesn't have the same
I
feeling.
think music's always going to be like that. Music, you're always going to go to music. If you're in a bad mood, you always go to music. When you're happy, you always go to music. You want that connection to someone.
Absolutely.
And I have my music on. Like, I'm such an emotional person. You know, whatever emotion I'm feeling, I've got my playlist to represent each one.
I know. Well, and that's pretty much every boyfriend I've ever had. It's been a case of, you know, I can't tell you how I feel exactly, whether it be negative or positive, but I've written a song.
Yeah.
So here you go. So
Read it, take it away, sing it.
And I always find when I'm like at my most vulnerable, I just want to write music.
We've got loads of girl bands. You've got Little Mix. You've got the Saturdays have kind of come into it. How do you think they're doing now? Because you were one of the original girl bands of the 90s, the best era of music. So how have they come into it? You've also got One Direction now. Would you have fancied them? How does it all, that whole pop world now, go into your back world in the 90s?
I love Little Mix.
I absolutely love Little Mix.
I mean, I think they're so sassy and they might not like this, but when I first saw Little Mix, I thought, kind of reminds me of Atomic Kitten. You know, they were quite raw, but they were so individual as people, and I just think...
I love Little Mix, I really do,
and the Saturdays as well. I mean, it's funny, you know, I listen to all their music and I go, I liked Atomic Kitten to sing a song.
Yeah. And One Direction are just absolutely brilliant. You know, that boy band, it's like Beatlemania, isn't it?
I was quite disturbed when they first come on the scene. I was like, that's nice. What am I saying?
What about you? Who would you vote for them out of One Direction?
Who would I fancy out of One Direction? Niall, is that the Irish one?
Yeah.
He's so cute. He's so cute.
Okay, well, we've had to come to an end now. Thank you very much, girls.